Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are going to be reacting to One Piece, episode 1079. So we had last week off. There was no episode last week. It wasn't just my choice to not react to it last week. There wasn't an episode. So we're finally getting back to this. We're continuing with the post-Wano stuff. And yeah, just kind of winding down after the massive battle of Onigashima. The new shogun has declared himself. Kozuki Momonosuke has fully arrived. And so, yeah, it's going to be good to see things just kind of go back to a sense of normalcy before the next arc. And speaking of, I have found out it has apparently been revealed due to leaks or whatever, I don't know, that there won't be a filler between Wano and the next arc. There's not going to be filler. It's going right into it. And I think it said the first episode of the next arc will be 1085, which means we've got 5 episodes until that: 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. No, I was right the first time. 6. We have 6 episodes before that to just close out post-Wano stuff. Obviously, we're going to get some big stuff happening with Luffy and his alliance defeating 2 of the emperors. We're definitely going to have some big bounty increases. Probably some more reveals, because there's been some big reveals between like every act of Wano and all, so some big stuff being showcased. So we're definitely going to get some more of that. And just, again, winding everything down, closing out Wano, closing out a lot of these storylines that have been in place since, Punk Hazard. So yeah. There's a lot to just finish here. And that's exciting. It's very exciting, but it's also kind of sad. Because there's just so much that was set up that we're not going to be having around anymore. Like all the samurai. That's going to be all done with. So, while it does suck, we've had all of this for a long time now, and it's been an amazing journey. But now we're going to be going into the final saga. And shit's going to go insane. Like, we're entering literally the final saga of this series. The final arcs that this show is going to have, or the manga as well. And, again, that's going to go insane. It's going to be wild to see what's going to happen. But, yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what happens next. So, excuse me. All of that being said, we're going to get right to it. We're going to hope for the best, as always, and see what this episode has in store for us. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after fades black and fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So let's get this out of the way real quick first. I knew about the bath stuff. This was a big thing everywhere when it first happened in the manga. Because it was a big point in the entire debate of whether or not Yamato is trans. Because there are still a lot of fans who will still try to claim otherwise. And will still try to claim bullshit things like saying, oh, Yamato is just trying to be Odin, so if Odin was a woman, then Yamato would proclaim themselves to be a woman. And it's like, it doesn't fucking matter. I've said this till I've been blue in the face, but it doesn't matter the motivation or the reasoning. The fact is, Yamato refers to himself as he, him, as a man. And literally everyone else does too, not just bad guys. Because a lot of people like to use that argument too. Oh, Kaido calls Yamato a guy because Kaido wanted a son to take over as shogun. And you're really going to take the word of a bad guy like that? It's like, it's not just Kaido. Literally everyone refers to him this way. Luffy does. Everyone understands that Yamato is a guy. It is 100% canon, is constantly said. We've heard it multiple times now, like Yamato, or not Yamato, Robin called him a boy in, was it last episode or the episode? I think it was last episode. In here, he's referred to as such by Jinbei. And again, he refuses to go to the women's bath with Nami because there's no mixed bathing. He is a guy, he goes to the men's bath with all the guys. Conversely, while Kiku goes to the women's bath with the girls because she is a girl. It's just obvious. It is so blatant and in your face and everything about this. It's not really trying to hide it at all. So the fact that people are still like arguing against this astounds me. And that really goes from when this was first revealed in the manga and everything. The biggest thing that people tend to use as well is the Viver cards. If you don't know, there's like these info cards named after the in-universe Viver cards. They're info cards that just reveal a bunch of info about characters. A lot of them are where you find out like stuff like ages, height, and whatnot. Stuff like that. And while the Viver card, I guess, for like characters like Kiku and Morley refer to them with terms that would be equatable to trans, apparently the Viver card for Yamato didn't. And people are using that as evidence because Oda has guidance over the Viver cards, even though he isn't the one putting them out or anything. But because he has guidance over them, people are saying that's proof that Oda said Yamato is not trans, that Yamato is a girl or whatnot. And it's like, that's not valid evidence in any way, shape, or form. That's not valid, especially because, here's a little fun fact for you, the Viver cards aren't reliable. Because you know what else was said in the Viver cards? You know Yasui? The Viver card said he didn't eat a smile fruit. The Viver cards said that his smile was not due to a smile fruit. But it was. We even literally saw that like a couple episodes ago. He partook of the same smile fruit as his daughter. It's not even a debate. The Viver cards are unreliable sources of information. The series, the manga/anime, has directly contradicted them. And there's more examples than just that. But has directly contradicted to them. And honestly, the only source that really matters is the manga and anime. And in those sources, guess what? Yamato is referred to as, and refers to himself as, male, as a man. And that's literally the only thing that matters. No other source, no other example. Yamato in canon, in universe, says he's a man, he's a man. That is all that matters. And it's like, I don't really like getting into this argument and debate with people anymore because everyone just tries to use the same stupid arguments without actually, like, trying to debate. They're just trying to prove you wrong. And it just gets old really quickly because they won't hear you out on when you provide evidence either. They won't hear you out at all. And so it just becomes like, it just becomes not worth it. But it's like, without question, in canon, Yamato is 100% trans. There's not even any argument that can be made that can change that. He is male. He is a man. He goes by he, him. That is just how it is. And I'm sorry, but these people out here can just fucking deal with it. But moving on, because I obviously want to talk about more than just that. But I needed to talk about that as a trans person myself. I needed to bring that. This will probably be the last time I bring it up, too, because I doubt there's going to be another situation where I would. But, yeah. That being said, this episode also set up for the future by bringing in Ryokugyu. So I remember who Ryokugyu is. He was one of the new admirals alongside Fujitora. And we saw him and Fujitora briefly talking, I believe, at Marishwa before. But Ryokugyu was completely in shadow. We never got to see his face or what he looked like or anything. Looks like that's about to change. I don't know anything about this guy. I did not know he was even going to be coming into Wano. So this part is completely unspoiled for me, luckily. But that also raises questions. Why is he coming into Wano? Is he just coming to try and take out Luffy? Is he trying to take Robin? Because they did mention that they were going to try and go after Robin again. Either way, he's going to be a problem because he's an admiral, so he's at least comparable in strength to the likes of Fujitora, Aokiji, Kizaru, Akainu. He's at least somewhat comparable in strength. We see that he's like flying on a flower into Wano. Is that connected to his powers somehow? Does he have like some kind of like flower devil fruit? I mean, it can't be called the flower fruit because that's Robin's. That's Robin's devil fruit. So what would it be called? I don't know. Maybe it's just not even a devil fruit thing. Maybe it's some kind of like technology. That's possible. But I'm definitely interested to see like what he's like. Because the question kind of comes into play, what kind of justice does he follow? Because there's really two kinds of justice in the One Piece world, in regards to the Marines and how the justice that they follow. There's absolute justice, which is Akainu's brand of justice. It's basically the Marines and world government are in the right, pirates are in the wrong. Nothing will change that, no matter who they are. And pirates should all die and be taken out no matter what. There is no room for argument. There is no room for any kind of change in belief there. That's just how it is. Then there is moral justice. I don't know if these are actually officially named, but I've heard people talk about them plenty in these terms. Moral justice is more on the level of Diaz Drake or Kobe, or Smoker is a great example as well. Marines who are genuinely seeking real justice, who can understand when other Marines might be bad and some pirates might be good. They are unbiased compared to the absolute justice Marines, and focus more on what is actually right. It just goes into the entire there are good Marines and bad Marines kind of things. The moral justice Marines are the good ones. The absolute justice ones are the bad ones. I'm kind of unclear at this point, based on the conversation he had with Fujitora before, and now this little bit we got here. I'm kind of unsure where he lies. Ryukugyu, I feel, might be leaning more towards absolute, because I don't know. It kind of seemed, from what I remember, it kind of seemed like he and Fujitora weren't necessarily on like the best terms. Like they weren't like buddy buddy. But I might be wrong. I might be misremembering too. That's always possible. It's been a while since I've seen that scene. When did that scene happen? Was that after Dressrosa? It might have been like after Dressrosa. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% on that either. But either way, we're finally going to get to see him, I guess. Our crew are not in the right, like, our crew aren't able to fight right now, let's be honest. Luffy, Zoro, all of them, they need rest. And, you know, meat and sake and stuff. They are not in a place to fight right now, and especially someone like an admiral. So, if he is going to try to actively fight them, they're going to lose. Meaning, I think that he's probably going to try to not actually super actively fight them, but rather maybe try to infiltrate and take Robin or something like that. That's kind of my thoughts. But I guess we'll see. We get to see Hiyori and Momo kind of like really reunite here and everything, with Momo now in his adult body. And we see kind of the fact that Hiyori is still being Hiyori and, you know, drop kicking him, which is funny. And we see also that Momo is still, like, we see how he is still an 8-year-old in terms of his mind, when he tries to go after Nami's breasts and everything. But yeah, it's like, it's made clear, it's like, that's not gonna fly anymore. Like, you may still be an 8-year-old in your mind, but you're an adult physically, and you're not gonna be able to get away with that shit, dude. Especially as the Shogun of Wano at this point. So it's definitely something you're gonna have to better yourself on. Of course, Sanji and Brook kind of rubbing it in his face doesn't help. And like I said in the reaction, I love that Hiyori is just like, she's just got the hots for Zoro. Like, because again, we see characters show interest in others throughout this series. Even Sanji's gotten someone showing interest in him. But Zoro really hasn't. It's mostly just been the fans. Because there's a lot of fans who are really hot for Zoro. And I mean, I won't argue, he does have a definite attractiveness to him, without question. But he's not like my number one by any means, even for guys in this series. Honestly, Luffy's higher up than him at the moment. Yamato, obviously. And various other. Even I don't know. I'd say Jinbei's probably around the same area as Zoro. Jinbei's... Yes, I have the hots for Jinbei. I've talked before how Jinbei is like one of those characters who's like an unconventional attractive character for me. That is still very much the case. Zoro is definitely more conventional, but he's just not my number one. He's not like the top tier for me. But I definitely see it, and it's like he's one of those characters who just hasn't really been thirsted over by another character in the series. So seeing that Hiyori just genuinely has the hots for him is really fun, and I really like that. I like the idea of it, and honestly, I think it's actually not a terrible ship. I don't think it's bad, like, at all. In fact, like, with Zoro being, um, you know, a swordsman and everything, being similar to the samurai, I don't think it's like a bad concept at all that his partner, his eventual partner, if he has one eventually, would come from Wano. Now, obviously, we see time and time again that Zoro doesn't really seem to have too much interest in that kind of stuff. But you know, we can think about stuff like that just for the funsies. It's shipping. There's nothing wrong with shipping, and I kind of do ship them. The funny thing is, the only other person I've ever really thought of shipping Zoro with is Tashigi, but that's a little obvious. Like, that's a little too on the nose, especially because of her looking like Kuina. I always felt there was a little bit of a weird angle with that. But Hiyori and Zoro actually comes across as a lot more natural, in my opinion. But after that, we also have Onimaru. I was trying to remember his name. Reuniting with Kawamatsu, which was fucking adorable. And during the scene, we also had Marco come in, and we talked about Ashura, Doji, and Izo's deaths. And Marco's little line there almost got me. Like, I held it in. I don't know how apparent it came across, but that actually did almost get me. Because if you remember, the last opening shows Marco crying while thinking about Ace. And his line here is, "I survived again." He's clearly thinking about the deaths of Ace and Whitebeard at Marineford. And now the death of another of his beloved crewmates, Izo, here. And how in these giant wars that he's been a part of with fellow crew, that he's lost people beloved to him both times. It's like, that almost got me. That almost did. I was able to hold it in, but that almost did it for me. Like, that almost broke me a bit. That's just really fucking sad, man. That's just really fucking sad. Like, it's good that he's alive and everything. It's good he survived. But at the same time, it's like, knowing what his thoughts must be, knowing that he's lost another close friend, another crewmate that was, again, beloved to him. All of the crew is beloved to him. And even if the crew was, you know, broken up by this point, the Whitebeard Pirates were no more, even despite that, like, he still greatly cares for them. You know he does. So it's really unfortunate that he's had to go through that again and lose another loved one. I really, really feel bad for the dude. He deserves so much better than to constantly lose loved ones like this. But you know he also understands that Izo gave his life fighting, that this was his choice, and that he did it to protect others and to protect the country that he was born in and loves. He fully understands Izo's choice to do so, And you know he doesn't blame Izo for a second. In fact, he's proud of him. 100%. And that's... God. I was still holding it together, but that actually... Just saying that did it for me. Oh, that... Yep. Okay, hold on. Just saying that line, just that he's proud of him, just that broke the floodgates. Okay. Oh, okay, I'm literally trying to wipe away tears here. Ah. Oh God, my nose is getting stuffy now. Hate it when that happens. Ugh. That did it. I made myself cry by talking about it. Oh. And you have Kinemon there as well, honoring the memory of Ashura Doji too, who is such a brave, strong character, and it's like it's wild that he was technically a bad guy twice. Once before Odin recruited him, and after Odin's downfall, he became a bandit again. Yet both times he ended up turning things around. And both times he came back to the side of good. Well, the first time he came to the side of good, but you know what I mean. And he died a hero. 100%. He died saving his friends. And now, during all of this great post-Wano stuff, we have trouble coming. I don't want this, you know? I know, like, post Water 7, we had, like, you know, Garp and them come in, and Aokiji had another meeting with Robin. But it's like, I don't fucking want this, man. I don't want their fun ruined. They're supposed to be having a fucking banquet to bring Jinbei into the crew more officially, and to, you know, celebrate their win over Kaido and Orochi, and Big Mom as well. I don't want them to get fucked with by an admiral here. That's just not fair. That's just not okay. But probably the biggest thing in this episode is Apu's reveal. Weirdly enough. So Apu goes to Kid and all of them, and it's like, hey, I got the new wanted posters. You got new bounties and everything. Oh, also, there's 2 new emperors. Because Kaido and Big Mom are obviously indisposed. Possibly dead, possibly not, unclear. But it's something I already know about. I'll just say that. I already know about the new emperors and everything. It's another thing that was just impossible to avoid. Because the One Piece fandom, as I keep saying, really sucks with spoilers. And this was something that was everywhere, constantly. So it was just kind of impossible to avoid at this point. So I know about all of that already. I don't know exactly how the reveal is done, though. So that's, I guess, going to be an interesting aspect of it. I'm just very curious to see where this all heads and how this closes out. Again, we've got like 6 episodes. Or is it 5 now? Because we finished this one. 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. Yeah, that's 5. Because 1085 is, from what I've heard, supposedly the start of the next arc. So, yeah. That's fun. But it's gonna be cool to see how this all ends out with only 5 episodes left. And hopefully nothing like really bad happens here. So yeah. Thank you as always for tuning in. Tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode? I kind of wish I could use Yamato in the men's bath for the thumbnail, but YouTube probably isn't going to like that. Just because, you know, near nudity, basically. But like I said, tell me your thoughts either way down below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.